Greetings, friends and fellow comic book loves. This is the officially unofficial geek channel. This is the weekly comic review. Guys, I'm back. I took a week off last week to move. As you can see, the behind me is completely different. That's because I am living someplace else now. Yeah, so some of the stuff is mine. Very few things are mine. Most of it is people I live with, but it's all cool. It's all good. This is my new little office area. I'm feeling pretty good, having a good time, feeling good about it, feeling great about how everything has progressed. Only thing is, we need the cats to come out more. Like my kitties, they don't really come downstairs very much because our bedroom is upstairs. They've been keeping close to the bedroom. Our little black cat, Kaylee, she has come downstairs quite a bit, but that's only when it's just me and Joe home. She really doesn't come downstairs for much else. I mean, I've added some new elements to my desk here, like this little Lego guy, the little Lego bike. Let's see here. I've also got a little Harley Quinn on a skateboard. Yeah, with a mallet. Check that out. Yeah, so guys, here's the thing. I did not do my comic review last week for obvious reasons. I moved. If I didn't already mention that enough. Anyways, I am thinking, there was despite the fact that I moved and I didn't do my video, I read a ton of books. So there's a possibility that I might still go back and talk about those. If not here on the channel, maybe I'll do an Instagram post about it. So if you're not following me on Instagram, please go follow me. You'll get updated pretty much the same way you would get updated here if you signed up for notifications to get notified when I drop a video. You would also every time I drop a video, I post on there. But you'd be getting more than just that. You would get my regular day-to-day musings and picture posts of varying topics. I am drinking coffee. This is not my mug. We have not found our mugs yet in all the boxes that we have moved. However, this is adequately geeky and awesome. So, who doesn't love a Dalek and Doctor Who? So, there we go. But anyways, guys, this is what we're here for. We're here for comics. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do we've got quite a few comics. Let's see here. We've got officially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think, to officially go through. Like I've been doing with my weekly videos recently, I'm going to tell you about all the comics, and then I'm going to highlight my top 3 picks of the week. And that's just how I'm feeling about them right now, and all that. So we really kind of missed out on not doing a video last week because we had a ton of really cool stuff. We had the last issue of Human Target. We had the last issue of Stephanie Phillips' run, Harley Quinn. We had the Batman vs. Robin finale. All these made me feel, fun stuff. So, man, Man, I really should. I should really do like something. I'm gonna do something on Instagram, guys. I'm gonna do something on Instagram, and so please go follow me there. Other than that, we're back on track, at least kind of. And here we go. We're going to talk about the comics that I bought this week. We're going to start with one that I'm not actually going to do a review on, but I just want to show it because it's cool. DC Comics has been doing some facsimile prints lately, and I haven't been getting a lot of them, but this one I did get this week, and it's Batman 357 from March of 1983. Here we go. This is the first, but yet retconned appearance of Jason Todd. This, if you recall, if you've been a fan of the channel for a while, I did a video with the first appearance of Jason Todd being the first appearance of Jason Todd. This, and talked about it. It's also the first appearance of Killer Croc, by the way. But the reason why I was talking about it was the first appearance of Jason Todd, where basically it makes him kind of a Dick Grayson clone, basically. And eventually, after Crisis on Infinite Earths, it gets changed. The origin is the one the one that it gets changed to is where Jason is caught trying to steal the wheels off the Batmobile. And that I also own an actual copy, not facsimile, of that one. I'm a Jason Todd fan, okay? I'm sorry. But if you have not seen that video, I might find a little bit of a link to it and throw it in the description so you can go back and check that out. I have some interesting comments, I feel, in regards to what they did with Jason Todd with this, specifically in the little bit that they did. This is basically, a lot of people would consider this a first appearance, and then there's some people that consider it a cameo appearance, first cameo appearance. Either way, he's in this book for the first time. Call it what you may. Ordering that one also made me think about, like, how much would it be for me to actually get Batman 357, like, from then, like an actual, like, not an actual copy, because that's an actual copy, it's a facsimile, but it's an actual copy. What would it cost for me to get an actual Batman 357, which is the first appearance of Jason Todd and the first appearance of Killer Croc? And it actually didn't look all that bad price-wise, so maybe that's coming soon to this channel. But anyways, I'm not going to actually talk about that one. If you want to see what I thought about it, check out the link in the description. I will go ahead and I will find that video and I'll put it down in the description, and you can go check it out for yourself. I really enjoyed doing that video too, so check it out anyways. But okay, guys, so you've waited long enough through all the rigmarole. Let's go ahead and get into the comics for this week that I bought and I read. Whew. First thing we're going to talk about is Dawn of DC, Adventures of Superman, John Kent, #1, Road to Injustice. These are in no particular order before the top 3 arrive. And I got to tell you, this was actually very enjoyable to read. Honestly, it doesn't look thin when you look at it. However, I probably could have read through a few more pages of this story. So basically what you got going on here is you have a story that is beginning here. I believe this is going to be about 6 issues. It's a 6-issue miniseries where John Kent is being visited in this issue by another super being from another universe. That would be Val-Zod. And Val-Zod and Red Tornado from his time period have connections to this time period, from his universe, have connections to certain people in John Kent's circle, so to speak. So they show up and they're telling John Kent, we need help because this Ultraman is going around and he is basically killing Superman. And if you have been reading the Superman and Action Comics lines up until now pretty steadily, you know that there was a backup story that indicated that they were going to be coming to look for John Kent and for John Kent's help in this situation. Now, for those of you that aren't aware, that are kind of new to the story of John Kent, Ultraman is basically the guy that took John Kent and kept him hostage and tortured him, and kept him away from his family, so that when John Kent returned back to his family, he was a little bit older than what he should have been. So that it's talked about in different comics, Superman comics. It's talked about, also kind of gets revisited anytime the two of them, not anytime, but sometimes when the two of John Kent and Damian Wayne, his best friend, end up talking about it at one point back in the past, within the last couple of years. They made mention of the fact that Damian is still like 14, 15, while John has accelerated in age to be like 18, 19, somewhere in there. And that's basically due to this guy, evil super guy, stealing his youth, basically stealing all those years from him and keeping him put away and hostage. So they want his help involving going after this guy. So that's basically the story that you're kind of going into. And there's interactions, there's interesting interactions, there's oh wow kind of moments. I could have, my initial reaction, and I kind of already touched on this, my initial reaction was that I could have dealt with the story being a little longer. I could have. I was in the world, and I felt like I got taken out of it at the end pretty quickly. As before with the John Kent Superman Son of Kal-El series, Tom Taylor is writing it again. The cover here is done by Clayton Henry and Marcelo Mialo. Honestly, like, if the cover was any indication, I wasn't that big of a fan of the art, but then on the inside it was okay. So like, I really kind of don't like the expression on John Kent's face. However, inside the art was good. I didn't like the cover, but inside it was okay. Next book that we're going to talk about tonight, we're going to talk about Batman 133. Let's see here. Right away, I just think this is interesting with the cover, because we were just talking about covers. We have a cover by Jorge Jimenez that directly references something that happens in this book. But it's really funny because the costuming on Batman on the cover does not match the costuming that he has within the book. And that's one of the things I love about the story is I like a lot of things about the story right now. I think that while some people are, and quite rightly, considering this kind of a tropey tale of, oh, somebody's being thrust into another universe, another dimension, parallel universe kind of thing. Oh God, another one of these. I take the argument that sometimes tropes are tropes for a reason, and tropes are tropes because they work. If they're done well and they follow the formula, they work. And that's why tropes are tropes. Like them, love them, hate them, want to leave them. That's the deal, okay? Not that I want to criticize anyone that is feeling negative about this trope. This is completely understandable because it is a very used trope in this kind of writing, to have someone just kind of being thrown into another parallel dimension, universe, that kind of thing, and having to figure out how to exist or get back. And the thing is we've got this going on we've got elements of the trope going on with both the main title tale story and the backup story with starring Tim Drake. Batman here, Bruce Wayne. Okay, so I was talking about his costume because he's been thrust into a world that does not have a Batman, right? So he has, and it's effed up, guys. It's messed up. The world is messed up, okay? That's another part of the trope. Was when somebody is thrust into a different dimension, they end up having to deal with some major negative besides the fact that they've been thrust into this other dimension. So he's been thrown into this world that does not have a Batman. It is completely messed up. Well, of course, Gotham without a Batman, he has to become Batman, right? But he does not have nearly the resources that he does, even after losing most of his money during the Dark Design storyline and Joker War storyline. He still had resources. This brother right now, Batman, Bruce Wayne, this dude has no resources. Literally underground work. Reminiscent a little teensy bit of the future state Dark Detective miniseries, where he's gone underground, he's gone to ground, doesn't have his wonderful toys. He is just dealing, and his costuming that he wears as Batman, crazy cool, because it is literally found objects being thrown together, and you can tell by looking at it. It's legit, okay? Let me show you guys, because I love this. Man, I'm gonna find out what brand those bags are, and I'm never using them again. They're tearing. Oh, golly. Let me find this shit, because it is so cute. It is so cool. So, I gotta find this. This is so cool. I gotta find a good shot of this. Okay, so like here, he's talking to Jewel, and you can kind of see it. So like, no, there's a better picture than this. Hold on, folks. Hold on. Don't switch me off yet. Yeah, I know you're there. Stop. because literally it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool what he's done. It kind of reminds me of, okay, so like check this out. It's at the end of the story. So literally, if you look at it, this is hard to kind of see. Dude is wearing, like, if you ever played softball or baseball, that's totally catcher's shin guards. Okay? Right? Because, yeah, the way that the way the straps look, he has catcher's shin guards on. Like, look at his helmet. It's a helmet. It's basically a bicycle helmet, right? With the pointy ears that he added on. Like, for real. Like, I love this. It was like, here we go. We got to make do with what we got, and this is what I can scrounge together, and that's my outfit. Seriously, these bags and boards that I got from this one shop, like, before I moved, horrible. Like, totally slitting, and I'm gonna find out what they are. Like, and yeah, like, you see this, guys? You see that? I need new bags and boards. I'm not gonna finish with those. One of the things, so we have a situation where he comes face to face with something that I hope I can expound on more in a setting where I'm not worried about too many spoilers. Okay, because right now this is an early video and I am trying not to give too many spoilers on this. But he has an encounter with somebody that is just like one of those things where it's like, well, you're thinking, you might be thinking as a reader, like, well, this guy in this universe doesn't have this one thing. This guy in this universe doesn't have this other thing. And they would match up completely. And you're just like, is there something going to happen here? And you're like, are they going to go there? Are they going to make that connection? And only time will tell. However, I'm going to say it. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. The Tim Drake backup story needs to either be given a few more pages, or it would have been cool to have that be the main story, where it's Tim Drake in Gotham Prime, Earth Zero, trying to figure out how to find Bruce. And you have this whole storyline that started last month with the Toy Man. And it's really good. I really enjoyed it. I liked it. And for some reason, that's one of my major complaints. Is like, it feels like the main story should be the Tim Drake story and the backup story should be the Batman story. But that's just my opinion. Next book we're going to be talking about Bloodline, A Daughter of Blade, #2. I got this pretty awesome Peach Momoko Women's History Month variant. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the story, it's one of those things where it's like, we're always talking about trying to get younger people into comics. Okay. And people are always talking about, how do we get younger people in the comics? How do we do this? And it's not necessarily one of those things where like a little kid could read it, but if you're looking, if you have a teenager, especially a teenage girl, that might like a little bit of the darker stuff, you know, like vampires, like, you know, that kind of thing, and you've been trying to find a comic that they'll be into, I recommend Bloodline for your teenage girl. Bloodline, Daughter of Blade is one of these things where I am a sucker. Even as a 41-year-old woman, I'm a sucker for the coming of age teen movie drama. The whole girl against mean girls kind of situation, and you got that here with this comic. Danny Lore is writing a coming-of-age vampire tale that just happens to involve the daughter of Blade. Brienne, when we last left her, she was kind of trying to go at it on her own after discovering things about herself happening. And not everyone is happy about that, obviously. But she is trying to go at it on her own, and she encounters a new classmate out hunting monsters. And that's where we pick up the story again. And there's some mean girl moments, some deception that happens, and a special appearance at the end of the book by a special guest character that just read it, maybe. If, like I said, if you are looking for something that hits all the check marks of a coming of age story for a young woman, it's there. If you're looking for a coming of age tale for a teenager that likes darker stuff like vampires, monsters, and that kind of thing, but feel like, other stuff that's normally like coming of age drama, like on TV or movies or whatever, may be lacking. Bloodline Daughter of Blade is only 2 issues in. Grab it for them. See if they like it. Because I'm enjoying it, I'm enjoying it. The next book that we're going to talk about, I need to stop saying so much. Okay. All right. The next book we're going to talk about is The Joker, number 6. The Joker, the Man Who Stopped Laughing, number 6. This one had me laughing. The Man Who Stopped Laughing had me laughing. Basically, because sometimes when you have a Joker book and it involves the Joker doing anything, there's a level of ridiculousness that occurs in the midst of everything absolutely diabolical that you can't help but chuckle at. Like, he does something in this book, because really this is just like one of those, if you've ever had one of those nightmares where in the nightmare you're trying to get somewhere and it seems like no matter what happens, something gets in your way and you absolutely have to get to this point. This is basically what the Joker issue 6 is the Joker has to get the hell out of where he is. And it is, believe it or not, I think this is the actual Joker, guys. Okay? This is not some replacement or actor. This is the actual Joker. So he has to get someplace and he has to do all this stuff and everything just keeps on happening. Now, are some of the things that happen partly his fault or completely his fault? Read the book. There's a few moments where it's just like, well, at least this didn't happen, and at least nobody knows you did it. And it's literally like everybody knows it's the Joker that did it. And it definitely keys into whether you've lived there before or you have just heard about it. It definitely keys into a lot of the typical LA things. So like street performers, that kind of thing definitely has a place, and stuff happens with street performers in this. So this is actually fun to read this week. Yeah. Speaking of coming of age books and series that would be beneficial for a teen to read, to get them into comic books. Speaking of which, we have Static, Shadows of Dakota, number 2. Nicholas Draper Ivy and Vita Ayala have put together a story that, like Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, and Marvel, they put together a story for Milestone Media that is, you could literally give both of those issues to a teenager and feel like, because this is issue 2, and just like Bloodline, you could give both of these issues to a teenager and think they're not going to see anything that their parents don't want them to see. It's safe, you know. This is especially, let's be real here, okay? This is Milestone Media. This is DC Milestone Media. Let's get more. It's awesome. 1, 2. Support Black creators, people of color industry people. Support that. Support those people so that when somebody that is looking for somebody that looks like them in the media that they're trying to read, it's there. It's available to them. And this exists for both Brienne with Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, and Static. Anything for Milestone Media, especially with Static. If you're trying to get teenagers to look up in the world and see that they are represented and all that, you got to support these kind of things. And I have absolutely no problem supporting what I can of Milestone Media. I have absolutely no problem supporting Static. It is a great character. It is another, like I said, coming of age, teenage kind of thing. Like, you want to read a book that has a Black teenager dealing with city life and being a teenager, but also has powers. Well, there you go. Static. Milestone Media, Static. This is 2 issues in. Get it. And if somebody likes it, well, then there you go. Go ahead and grab that season 1 trade paperback or hardcover, because DC likes to do their hardcovers real nice. And, you know, hey, if you like it even more, then go check out the stuff that came out back in the early 90s, because it's all there. Go get it. We need more of it, but it's there. You just have to go look at it and seek it out. Basically what we have going on here is Static. Virgil is working with this outreach program for the church that he is a part of, that he's to the request of his father, and they're there, and obviously we saw it in the first issue, and we see it even more in the second issue. There are outside sources that basically are not keen with the idea of the Bane babies, which are basically everyone that got powers from the Big Bang in Dakota. So if none of that makes sense, any sense to you, I'm sorry, but it's this whole universe that is there, and it's the Milestone Media universe, and it's great. And was I necessarily as entertained with this second issue as I was with the first one? No, not really. The action, when it does come, is pretty quick, but I still liked it. I'm thinking about it like right now. I don't really think that there's anything that I absolutely hated. Is there anything I absolutely hated? No, because we have one more book until I get into my top 3. So here we go. This is Cherish issue number 5 from Dynamite. Now here's the deal. Katana Collins has written a just nice action-filled palette cleanser. involving a woman that has nanotech that her father developed. And when she was a little girl, she witnessed his murder. Now, okay, so all right, so maybe I have the ability to be a little bit critical of certain things that are in here. Overall, not a bad issue, pretty good. It feels like we're checking off all the boxes. Now, it seems like this is going to be the final issue in this series because it says the end for now, kind of business at the end. And it feels like we were checking off boxes. Like this is, or it's one of those things where it's like, it either feels like we were checking off like a bunch of boxes or things were just kind of steamrolling. And honestly, this was 5 issues. This was the 5th issue. I could have dealt with another issue to give all the things that were revealed in this issue a little bit more room to breathe. And I don't think that that's necessarily the fault of a writer or anything like that. I think that you're given a certain amount of issues to handle a storyline, and I don't know. I think that it would have been nice to have given this another issue to breathe with all the revelations that happen in this issue, which is interesting. You have, and this might just be a Dynamite type of thing, where you have a lot of like mini series that you're seeing lately right now happening in the big 2, which Dynamite is technically an indie kind of publisher. They do a lot of intellectual properties, but they also have original stories as well, and this is one of them. And a lot of miniseries, like in the big 2, seem to be going to 6 issues. And I'm kind of curious as to why this one only went to 5. It seems like that was part of the plan, considering the fact that it did end with an ending, an open-ended ending, where it can allow for another series to happen. However, it would have been nice to have seen an issue 6 to give all the things that were happening in this issue a little bit more room to breathe. Other than that, it covers everything. Like, it answers all the questions, y'all. It answers all the questions, and that's like the best thing that you can ask for in a story that is not open-ended, is that, especially in a mystery and revenge type plot, avenging type plot that this is, you want all of the questions answered. Why is this happening? Okay, we got an answer. Why is she doing this? Why is she, who is this person? Who is that person? And all these questions get answered. So all the questions get answered. So in that end, it's a success. Am I hoping for more? I did very much like the character Cherish. I am hoping for more. It does leave it open-ended, with the possibility of it being a continued story down the line. So, yeah. I did like Cherish. I did enjoy it. It was very much a straightforward, it was a straightforward palate cleanser kind of book that I could read, and I didn't have to use the noggin all that much because it was right there in front of me, and it was just nothing hidden that I had to sit there and be like, okay, what I at no point in reading Cherish did I have to sit there and create a corkboard or a list in my head or on the computer or on paper about what I'm thinking is going on there. It was just, this is what you're given. This is pretty straightforward. It is an avenging revenge story with a love story attached to it. And that's good. That's good. It's refreshing. It's refreshing, y'all. Still got plenty of coffee. Good. Okay, guys, so we've reached that point in the video where I am at the top 3 books. No particular order, but kind of. Let's get into this. I recently started reading the next book when it started rumbling and tumbling that it was going to become an ongoing title. It had its initial 6 issues. Then it got some more, and then recently got announced that it was going to become an ongoing story. Now, the first issue I got the first issue all the way back, and I did not, it was so acclaimed. Like, everybody freaking loved it, and I didn't. And the reason I did not like Poison Ivy, so then my next book is Poison Ivy number 10. The reason I did not like Poison Ivy number 1 was it seemed like everything she was doing, she was out to kill all of humanity and all the animals and just have beautiful plant life, everyone including herself, except Harley Quinn. Even the animals. And based on my knowledge of Harley Quinn and everything like that, it was one of those things where it was like, Harley Quinn will not thank you for that sort of thing. But anyways, it got a lot of acclaim and prestige and a lot of people reading it. And then we get to the point where it kind of shifts. Like, she's not necessarily hell-bent on killing everyone, just more specific types of pursuits. In the last issue, in number 9, I really loved it. It was, it made me feel, it made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me, like, I loved it. And it was the issue where Harley had been through some things and decided she was going to go find Poison Ivy, and she shows up on Poison Ivy's doorstep. And Harley does Harley things, and it was absolutely beautiful. And now we're at this point where by the end of that issue, Poison Ivy's like, fuck all of this. I'm going to go back to be with the love of my life, which is Harley. And so she's taking Janet from HR with her, which is a character that I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, there was a book a while back that was the 80th, it's the villain's 80th anniversary issue, where there was a Poison Ivy story before the mini-series started. And it had her encounter a woman that reminded her, had blonde hair, blue eyes, reminded her of Harley. So she took sympathy on her. And I believe that's the same person. Please correct me if I am wrong. But Janet is going with her back to Gotham, and Janet somehow talks her into going to a self-help retreat on their way back to Gotham. And guys, oh my goodness, it was so much fun to read. And it's like, on one end you are Poison Ivy thinking, oh my god, why am I here with all this happening, and this is nauseating, and one thing leads to another, and basically there is funny, naughty hijinks that ensue. That you weren't expecting. You know how I was talking about just a little bit in the show, books that you could give to a teenager and it'd be okay, like Static and Bloodline. Well, this you definitely don't want to give to a teenager or younger and expect their parents not to get pissed off. Woo! All Ivy needs to say to Harley is, we were on a break. Anyways, guys, she comes to the realization about her condition that makes sense and might change how things go moving forward. Do I think it's going to deter her from eventually getting back to Gotham and seeing Harley? No, I don't think it will. But it makes things interesting. And I really love, guys, like, I really love, especially this cover. This cover is done by Jessica Fawn. And it's really cute. And I love it. I really love it. It's beautiful. I love the way, especially the way Ivy looks, not only on this cover, but throughout the book. There's just some really gorgeous art going on here from Takara and Priento. Yeah. Willow Wilson is, I think nobody expected the Poison Ivy book when it was announced to be something that would be as I think nobody really expected it to take off the way it did. And the fact that it did is definitely a testament to the story that she's been able to tell. And I wasn't into it at first, but I kind of like this. It's kind of romantic, and you know, she's going home to her girl, you know, but she's still dealing with the fact that she's not quite sure exactly where she is, where her mind is in all of this. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm here for that. The next book that we're going to talk about, I was not expecting this based on what I've been hearing and everything to be a book that was going to end up in my top 3. But I got to tell you, there are very specific reasons. And I think the reasons that I love it are the reasons why people are not loving it. Or people are indifferent to it, and that would be Scarlet Witch number 3. This is the Women's History Month variant. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So if you have been reading Scarlet Witch, you know what's going on. If you have not been reading, here is my best nutshell on this entire series. Scarlet Witch has opened a metaphysical New Age bookstore. Inside the bookstore is a door, and it is basically, it's called the Door of Last, I think it's the Door of Last Resort, or the Door of Last Hope, something along that line. And if that door opens and you walk through, that means that you have reached your wit's end involving something. You need help. And she has decided that that's what she's going to have to try and kind of, you know, atone for the things that she has done. And each of these issues has two connecting things, or excuse me, 3 connecting things. If you want to connect the fact that Scarlet Witch has a shop. These are the 3 connecting things. Scarlet Witch has a shop. with the door of Last Hope. 2, working within that shop is Darcy. Darcy, you find out in the first issue, and you are reminded in subsequent issues so far, she at one point came through the door and has not revealed to Scarlet Witch why she came through the door yet. But she decided she worked for Scarlet Witch in her shop, so she's a shopkeep right now. 3, in the first issue, there is a stone that the person that walked through the door was wearing that repels all magic, suggestion, and power. So there's 3 things. They're trying to figure out the stone, they're trying to figure out Darcy, and they're trying to just do the normal happenings of the shop. Every issue with the shop, with the door, somebody comes through the door needing help. So 3 elements throughout each issue get mentioned in each issue. So why is that important? Well, that's important because here's the thing. This book is very episodic. Like, things are solved. Like, the main storyline, the main issue in the book, other than these 3 things that are constant in each issue, so far, the story gets resolved in that issue. If anything, the story, you do have cliffhangers that are right at the very end of each story that propel you into the next issue. Very episodic, very sitcom-like in nature, except without the bottled laugh. Now, I have heard people talk about how that's a negative. To me, that is a positive, because it's really interesting, because it's this whole with great power comes great responsibility kind of situation with Scarlet Witch. She has this great power. Things happen, and now she's using it to do something good. And every issue, somebody comes and they need help, which is very good. And I like that. And I've heard other people criticize that. And, well, whoops, I like it. Anyways, one of the things that happens usually in the first 2 issues is the person would arrive, they would have the issue, and the Scarlet Witch would deal with it. And there was a way that the Scarlet Witch would deal with it in certain situations to fit the situation, fit the gravity or the panache of the situation. And I've thought about this since I read it last night. What's really cool about this particular issue is it's very storybook-like. Once you get into the person that comes through the door and what her and Polaris is guest starring as well. They also have guest stars in each issue. It's cute. I love it. So Polaris is there to talk about the stone from the first issue. And then the door opens and they go and they deal with it together. And it becomes this like epic hero poem, like Greek epic, or like, but without being lyrical, but still being poetic, like story. It's Arthurian without being Arthurian. It borrows elements from tropes. Not elements, excuse me. Elements would be more specific, but it borrows tropes of a chosen one, of a... Okay, so what are the main things that are coming to my mind right now, besides Greek and Roman epics, would be Arthurian. All right, it borrows tropes from that, and Shakespearean, borrowing tropes of Joan la Piccinelle, which is basically Joan of Arc, and epic storybook tales, epic mythology tales. It gets to the point where you're turning a page and there's a new splash page on each page. But the thing is it's like one of these like epic storybooks that just keep on going, and like some absolutely gorgeous art mixed with some absolutely gorgeous narration. There's no like I'll look again. No, I'm pretty gosh darn sure, for like a number of pages, once it gets into the story of them traveling with the person that comes through the door to do what they have to do, like there's no dialogue. It's narration. And it's one of these things where it's like, typically you want narration to tell you something that you can't see in comic books. Okay? Typically. But one of the coolest things about knowing the rules is knowing how to break them as well. And I think this does a really good job at trying to break that rule. Whereas it's showing you and it's telling you in the narration what's going on. Because, yes, it's a fucking comic book, right? Like, yes, it's a goddamn comic book. But it's an epic hero storybook as well. And yeah, that's really cool. I like that. Typically, that much narration, no. Especially if it's showing you, like, okay, so here's the thing. Why provide narration for something you can show in the pictures? That's typically the argument. Okay, so if you're going to use narration, then it has to be something that you don't get from looking at the pictures, because this is a comic book, is a book with pictures. Okay, so that's the typical thing. Now, however, there are some times where there are exceptions, and this is one of them. So that is why I loved Scarlet Witch this month. There literally, guys, there is a sword that they're looking for, and it's stuck in something, and the hero has to pull the sword from the thing that it's stuck in. Okay? Like, Arthurian trope. Right there. Hero's journey trope. It's just, I'm a sucker for it, okay? And that art is absolutely gorgeous. Oh gosh, like, fuck it. I was gonna tell you about the last book. Fuck it. Fuck it, y'all. I gotta show you what I fucking mean here. See, these bags and boards are much better, except I gotta be careful not to fuck up my book. Alright. So, like, we go from, like, here. There's dialogue here, and then we start getting these kind of, like, pages. Right? And, like, let me show you some of the ones that I really like. I don't want to show you the whole goddamn thing, because this artist deserves to have their shit shown. Because it's gorgeous. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous. That's all I'm going to show you, though. And the artist is, I'm pretty sure it's the normal artist in this one. Yes, Sarah Pichelli. Yeah, and inking by Elizabeta Diamanco. Colorer Matthew Wilson, because that color is fantabulous, Matthew. Congratulations. Congratulations on that fucking shit, because that is some epic shit right there. Epic storytelling. Thank you very much. Quite literally and figuratively, y'all. Literally and figuratively. Okay, so I just needed to show that off for Miss Pichelli, because bravo. Okay, so can anyone guess? Think about this for a second. Can anyone guess what this last book is? It has been consistently a book that I have praised every month. This is book 5 of a limited series. It's from DC. It's our live show. I'd be like, hey, guess who it is? But it is not a live show. So this is Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo, book 5, Mark Silvestri, Arif Prieto. And I gotta agree with other people that are saying this. If you get this book, if you've been getting this book, 1, you already know why. It's absolutely brilliant. 2, there are usually some pages that get thrown on at the end that are in black and white, like pencil and ink, that are just, I've used the word epic a lot in this particular video. Epic. Let's do it again. Epic. I like that word, epic. It's a cool song by Faith No More. So this, I believe, is a 6-issue miniseries. This is issue 5. We are starting to wind down. If you are not familiar with this book, and you should be, this is the brainchild of Mark Silvestri. God bless ya. Because damn. Okay. So Batman and the Joker have to team up to save Harley and Jim Gordon against it's another one of these revenge type stories, and they have to try to figure out throughout this whole series who is holding Harley Quinn and where, who is holding Jim Gordon and where, and the Joker needs Batman's help and Batman needs the Joker's help. So they have to team up. And so you have Batman, being all serious, and you have the Joker being the Joker, and it's this whole juxtaposition involving these two characters. And very much the really weird version of The Odd Couple, and the art is absolutely fantabulous. And I really can't say much more about this issue except that we're starting to check off those boxes. We're starting to come to the end of that story. We're starting to get questions answered, pretty epic answers by the end of this issue, that if I could talk about it, I would, but I'm trying to leave the spoilers out of this. If you've been sleeping on this one, definitely, if you have some extra cash, go pick up the other issues, catch up. Next month is the last issue, like I was saying, or buy what will potentially be Because DC, oh my God, DC with the hardcovers, shit, okay? And I mean shit in a good way, y'all. I love DC hardcovers, and I'm just thinking about the DC hardcover that is going to come for this book right now. I'm thinking about it right now. This dream come true if they do what they normally do with their hardcover books, in my humble opinion, my not so humble opinion. Who would ever describe me as humble? Jeez. The hardcover that is going to come out involving this, DC, do not fuck it up. Do not fuck it up, because y'all, I will probably buy that shit. Even though I have all these issues, I will probably buy that so that I can you know, gift these issues to someone else. Because I like this series so much. But like I said, this is getting to the point where we have one more issue, and it's one of those things where it's like, this is 6 issues total, and we're on the 5th issue. So comparatively to Cherish, we're going to have 6 issues of this one comparatively to the 5 issues of Cherish. And we've started checking off the boxes here, but we've given it enough room to breathe. We have a major reveal at the end of this issue. A couple major reveals that it's just like, okay, here we go. That happened. Now we're going to deal with all of that hopefully next month. It gives it room to breathe. I really, bravo. I like room to breathe with Revelations, because anticipation and build up. Yes. But we definitely had some of those kind of things. Starting to check off all the boxes, but we haven't checked off all the boxes. There's a little issue of why that will probably epic conclusion. Little issue of how is that possible? It's definitely going to be coming next month, hopefully. If you stick the landing, which if they don't stick the landing involving this, I'm going to be very disappointed. Yeah. But anyways, guys, that is my comics from this week. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have not checked it out already, Joe and I did post last night What's Happening Wednesday, where we talk about the beginning of Mandalorian Season 3 in beautiful spoiler-tastic vision. So if you have not watched the beginning of Mandalorian Season 3 and or the Book of Boba Fett in its entirety, go check those out and then come back and check out my channel's video where Joe and I discuss the beginning of The Mandalorian Season 3. That's What's Happening Wednesday. That was posted yesterday. Working on some possible plans and some things coming up. Still working on trying to figure out a giveaway for the 100 subscribers. I did go to an event this past weekend, but I didn't quite find anything that I wanted to. Found some stuff, but I didn't quite find something that I felt reached the level of gratitude that I want to show you guys. So we're still searching. And then I think what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing something special for stepping stones up to 500, which I want to. I'm setting a lofty goal of reaching at least 500 subscribers before the end of 2023. So if we go over 500, well, all the more better. Yeah. But that's my current goal. So to that end, please, If you have not already subscribed to my channel, do so. Please, like I said, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought of these comics this past week. Let me know what you think of what I thought of these comics. And please hit that notification bell so that you are made aware anytime that I post content, so that you don't have to miss out on any of the pop culture fun. And yeah, I think that's it, guys. Stay tuned. As always, keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something. Remember that the complacent never make a difference. And I'll be seeing ya. Bye.